Hello everybody and welcome to more trades. Interesting times for Bitcoin. We had a nice move yesterday and it seemed like we're going to continue to the downside, but before I get into that I would like to share with you a few things that I see in the chart before we get into Bitcoin. Hello everybody and welcome to more trades. If we look at the DXY to start with, so we understand where are we in terms of the US dollar, because the US dollar leads the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin, whether it goes up or down, it all depends on the US dollar. Looking at the US dollar on the daily chart, this is the daily. The US dollar has been on a terrifying rip up for the past year or so. And we've broken 20 years high. We need to understand that. We need to put things into perspective and understand we don't have to go into trading just blindly. Look at this. The US dollar has ripped the highs it has gotten here. The last time we were here, it was on October 2002. So that's 20 years ago. So that's the significance of this move. We're having a wick, but it's natural to have that. This is on the monthly. If you go on the 4-hourly, after such an extensive move, we would expect a retrace. I even wouldn't doubt. I mean, I wouldn't consider it bearish even if it tested the 105.005. It could go that low. If we go that low, I expect a bounce there, but let's see if it can even go lower than this. It's still holding support at the 106.385. And you see what happened here is after we moved up, we retraced. Let's see how much from the bottom of this to the top, how much did we retrace? We retraced slightly more than the 0.618. Probably the 0.65. Let's see if it's a 0.65. Let's add that. Below the 0.65. And if we say currently we might do the same, so we take that to the top here and take the bottom, put it over here at the bottom of this. We are currently sitting at the 0.618 and having supported there. So we could continue higher after retracing that much, continue higher if we're going to do what happened over here. Past performance doesn't past performance doesn't show future results, but we could still have that. And if we go to the Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hourly, you'll notice that the DXY is way above its resistance cloud, resistance and support cloud. Why isn't it showing over here? Let's go to Bitcoin and see if it shows. Okay, we'll take a look at Bitcoin first. The Ichimoku on Bitcoin, you can see that on the 4-hourly, it's very bullish. We're above it, but we have all this thin cloud over here. Very easy for Bitcoin to pierce down and drop lower to our lower targets. We'll talk about them later. But we're also having the support cloud thickening up, which is really good for Bitcoin. If we continue, say we get to the 24th of this month, 23rd, 24th, we have a good support cloud. Even if we drop down, we might get some support. That is on the 4-hourly, depending on what time frame you're trading. But if you look on the daily, you can see clearly that we bumped our heads on the 4-hourly. On the daily Ichimoku cloud on the daily, and it was our daily open of the candle. Our candle, yesterday the candle went this high and came down. We bumped our heads, and the next candle obviously opened lower, and we continued lower, and now we pulled back. But we also have another level of resistance just over there. We also bumped our heads on the 55 EMA. That's also an important EMA for Bitcoin. So looking at that, so far we have strong resistance above, we have good support below, we're in a compressed range. If we look at the 200, the 233 on the weekly and on the daily. On the daily, I think we're above it. Our 233 is way ahead on the daily. It's right over here at 34,521. On the weekly, it's right above us, and we almost kissed it. We almost got there. It's at 24,790. So even if we pump to 24,790, there would be a good resistance over there of the 233 EMA, which is a Fibonacci number. Now going back to the lower time frames, the 15 minute, to make sense of what's going on, I'll show you what's happening over here. Bitcoin has been moving up. You could consider it impulsively, and this wave, we could count this as 1 and 2, and this move up was a 3, the continuation, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And we're pulling back. This seems to be a 5-wave move, but if we pull back in a 5-wave move, that wouldn't make it a wave 2. So probably we have somewhere here, we have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. A C wave can be a 5-wave move. So if we say that was a wave 2 and the B was higher than the wave A, which happens sometimes, and we have a C wave now, then we'd be continuing in a third wave, which would be a strong third wave, an impulsive third wave that could take us way higher. If we say that we started over here, let me show you. We started over here on a 1, and we came up here for a 2. I mean down here for a 2. The third wave can go up to the 1.618, which is very bullish, 31k, but I doubt we'll get there. We would get at least to the 0.618 or the 121. So between 25.6 and 27.7. If this is a third wave, but we need to break so much resistance on the way up. Now if we look at this move down, and to see how far from here to here, to see where could we retrace to and where are we now, we take it from the top, the fib retracement tool, to the bottom here, and you can see currently we are above the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement and hitting our heads on the 0.5. That could even be considered a wave 2 or even a wave 4 retracement. So what I'm saying is, the scenario that I gave you just now before this, it could be different. We could be going up, we could be going down now in a wave 1, coming up for a 2, and we're going down for a 3. It's very hard to say this. The only time this scenario of going down would be invalidated for the short to medium term is if we can break the 24.6. This was our high here. If we break it, then I will say this wasn't a 1 down and a 2 up and a 3 down and we're continuing lower. I will say, okay, for the time being, it looks like we're going to go higher if we break this and start opening and closing above it. But you can see we have fib channels on our way, which in the past have affected the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin respects its fib channels if they're plotted correctly. Sometimes it may break through them, but other times you may see good results. So if I go back here, mind you, this is on the daily, so on the 1 hourly you'll see more candles over here. We had support over here. You can see over here, this is the fib channel. I'm going to draw a white trend line so you can see where it is. We had support on this line. So once we broke support, support becomes resistance. Okay, the white trend line has moved, so this is it now. It's gonna be good resistance, strong resistance. It was strong support, now to be good resistance. So even if we come to the 24,646, which would be above the 1-to-1 extension of the Fibonacci retracement, we could still see a reversal down. The candle printed over here on the daily is a doji. A doji is a reversal candle. You can see what we've done in the past when we hit this, when that happened, when we were right over here. We pumped up, we had a doji, reversed down. Pumped up, we had a doji, continuation down. Over here, we pumped up, we had a doji, and then we had a second doji, and we came down. Now we have one doji, we might have another doji, and continue lower. So that could even be the scenario, or we could just continue up and fill this gap up to the 28K. That would be amazing for the bulls, and for the bears. When we get to this zone, it would be a good short. We would at least retrace. If we get to 28, I think we could retrace to 24 again to retest this high, or even this high at 26K. So that would be a great short to take. Now I have these targets. I'll update them. I'll go to the hourly chart so you can see on the hour what could be our targets, because the targets move with the trend line. So at the moment, if we go down, if we start going up, we have this target first, and our next target above it. This is for this hour. Obviously it changes as we move. If we go further down, that would be almost the same, because this is on the hourly, so you don't see the descent of the lines clearly, but you see over here the line is not a horizontal line. And if we go down, we have these two purple lines that I marked out. These were previous resistance turned support, and now they are support. 22,400 and the 22,115. Plus we have this green trend line, which was previous resistance, and we could come down and retest it at 22,173. So very close targets. I don't have to mark them because you have the 22,15 or 115, and then we have this other fib channel over here, way lower, at around 21,430. Let me get it accurately. 21,497. And the next level below that, 21,82, and the one under it would be 20,679. These are the levels to the downside. If you're wanting to chance a long, you could try it when Bitcoin starts dropping. But other than that, we're still indecisive whether Bitcoin up or Bitcoin down. If you want to chance a long or chance a short, I would say at the moment we're close to support, and that would be good for a long, but I wouldn't long it blindly. I'll try to look for some confluence. We have support over here. You can see this wick that shows a rejection. The buyers kicked in, volume increased, but if you look at the volume, it's almost insignificant, negligible to what the volume was previously. Even on the daily, we haven't had much volume since 15th of June. Very low volume. Another thing I would show you, let's look at our ATR. The ATR tells us of an incoming move. I like to look at it on the hourly, and if it goes below the 160, we're getting there. We were around the 300 range today earlier on, and now we're way below 286. Once we get below 200 or at 200, that tells you that we're going to have a move very soon. Remember that that indicates to me something. The ATR is low and it's going lower. We're having fib time. I told you about the fib time. This is my trigger line. I always have it before my Fibonacci time, a certain distance. I've noticed moves happen. They start over there and then they continue on the Fibonacci or reverse. So we might expect a drop down to the Fibonacci, then a bounce up, or a drop down, then we start bouncing up. No one can say for sure where we're going, but you try to look for confluence. I want to show you my Elliott wave count. Let me get rid of this for the time being, so you can see the Elliott wave. Trend base fib time, trend base fib time, trend base fib time. The Elliott wave count that I have for Bitcoin starts way from 69,000. I believe we were in a 5-wave down and it played out. The white count, let me take the yellow aside and the green. The white count shows you a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. The yellow one, I was plotting it on the way down to see a 5-wave move in 1. So we got a 5-wave move in 1. Then we had a 3. Then we had a 2, sorry. Then we have a 5-wave move in 3. And we have a 4. And now I expect a 5-wave move in 5. Now how low will that go? We have to see where wave 4 ends. I think we're topped out for wave 4, but I could be wrong. I had a target for wave 4. An initial target for wave 4 is the 0.236, 0.382, and the 0.5 are all targets for wave 4. But let's see where are we now. Oops. At the moment, from the top of wave 3 to the bottom of wave 3, roughly we hit the 0.236 and wicked above, and now we're below. So that could tell us that, okay, this is a target for wave 4. Sorry, 0.382. This was 0.236 over here. We have the 0.382. If we go higher and start going above 0.5, then it will make me be skeptical about this count. This gray box over here that I have is a region that I expected a reversal from. Possible reversal after a red July. I had this note for a while. I've been saying a red July, but if you look at the monthly so far, July, how does it look? July is pretty green, and I believe towards probably the Fed meeting or the announcement of the interest rates, we might have a rally, a relief rally. So we could have a green July, but I was thinking probably we'll have a red July. And why do I think that? I did a count. There was a count of the monthly candles. You divide it by the pumps with the dumps, some certain pumps and dumps that I divide them, and I get the 0.618 number. And if that's going to play out, we need one more red month, and that will get us the 0.618. And now let's look at the DXY again. Where is the DXY? The DXY is still trying to hold the 0.618 fib level. And going to Ethereum, I've noticed something about Ethereum and Solana, that Ethereum and Solana sometimes precede Bitcoin in their moves. So sometimes I see a move in Ethereum and Solana because their moves are almost identical. Sometimes Solana, because it's less volume traded, so it's very sensitive and it's more volatile. We see the move happening more aggressively in Solana. And if you go to Ethereum, you'll see almost the same move, but not as aggressive. And then you go to Bitcoin and you see the same move happening. Sometimes they happen before happening in Bitcoin. If I look at Solana on the 4-hourly, we had a nice drop and we hit this level that I've had. It was a channel that Solana was traveling in before and broke down and came back in and broke down. It keeps coming in and trading in and out of this range. And you can see that it respects the levels very well. And these are four-hourly candles. At 16 hours, it was struggling in here, and 2 hours down here, and here 2 hours. So it's levels that it respects. The daily support that we had at one point, it was a daily support. It was a significant support. As you can see over here, it was very big resistance. And we have some targets to the downside for Solana. I have a target of 30, 29.93. These are just lines I've drawn through wicks or through levels that I've seen that held for a while or were good resistance. If you look at the Dow Jones, because Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency follow the NASDAQ and Dow Jones and the SPX. The Dow Jones pumped today, and I was expecting it to come up here and hit the 0.618. I've had this for a while, and we hit it today, and we got a small reaction. Let's see how will it go. Will it pump and break through it? This 0.618 comes from measuring from up here to down here. So we retraced 61.8% of this move, and we could be continuing lower or get a slight pullback, a nice pullback. The US 100, the NASDAQ, these are channels that I've had for a while, and we traveled. We were in this channel. We started, we broke above, came back in and dropped. And I had this descending channel, possibly if it was going to travel at this path. And I had measured moves for these channels breakouts. And I had this channel for a very long time. This channel measured perfectly. So I took this measurement of this channel, and I had a target for NASDAQ, which we hit, and I think we exceeded. Let me just remove extend right. So if we take this trend line and you check out where it broke out from, look at that. 11962, we came all the way down to 115, I believe. Oh, 11,000. So we had this target and we hit it at some point, and it was a good trade for whoever took it. These are simple techniques to chart. You don't have to make it very complicated and use Fibonacci and everything. Welcome, Sergio Clippet. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having good trades today, and didn't lose some trades as I did a few days ago. I tried to short while Bitcoin just ripped up. That was a mistake. We always sometimes we win trades, sometimes we lose trades. You're not going to win every trade, but the point over here is just to minimize the losses and increase the profits. If we look at the SPX over here, we had a gap, and this is the SPY, sorry, not the SPX. The SPY, we're going for that gap. On the SPX, I believe we also have a gap at 4,012. We might be coming up for that gap. If we come up and cover and pump up to this, Bitcoin will get a good pump again to 24.3, to 24.3, which would be strong resistance. If we break above 24.6, then that would be good for Bitcoin. You're welcome, Sergio. I had a very bad start too. I had a very bad start until I started doing one thing that really helped me in my trading. The one most important thing that I did, first of all, paper trading with fake accounts. That is good. It helped me. I played around there, started learning some techniques, and got the techniques that worked with me, like using the EMA's crossover with the MACD crossover, trying to look at different time frames before entering a trade, smaller time frames. But the one thing that helped me was trading light. trading with small amounts. I started off with trading with $10, and sometimes I still do those small trades. I trade with $10, and at one point I converted $10 into $200. That was a crazy trade, and I kept it open and just was moving my stops into profit. And that's when things changed a bit for me. But you still will lose trades. No one wins every trade. So I wish you learn. I wish you benefit. I wish I am of help and help you improve your trades. I have some videos that are beneficial, tutorials teaching some techniques in trading, and I also give targets of possible resistances and supports, and that I would possibly take a trade from. Ethereum, I had a channel over here. So as you can see, I draw these channels sometimes when I see a move. I draw these channels to understand if we continue in this channel in a certain path. Like if we have an ascending channel, the higher probability is that we're going to break down. So I had a target. Very simple. As soon as I saw that we had 3 touches, I drew a channel. And I measured the channel with this green line. I've had it forever. And I marked it, and I marked this. And look how accurate that was. I mean, I missed it probably by a few dollars. This was 996. I was $20 off in my Ethereum trade. And I kept my trade open. I was waiting for it. Unfortunately, it got closed out, but in profit, because my stop loss was in profit. But I was so eager to see that 973 being hit. My ego just wanted me to see that because I had the 973.37. But the market doesn't care what you think. I have lower targets for Ethereum as well. I have another chart of Ethereum. I'll show you the lower targets. I had 911, 913, and 705. Over here, the 911 was exceeded. Why don't I have it over here? Because I drew the channel after that hit, so I expected it to come back again. Ethereum really looks like this wave was impulsive. Like it was a move out, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 out, and then we will come back for an ABC down. So this could be an A, come up for a B. This looks better than in Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, the B went slightly higher. Welcome, Sergio Clippit. Like the streams, that helps the channel a lot. Liking the streams, commenting, sharing. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to assist you with anything that I have that I know about. I entered a short on the 14th of July, but I got stopped out with a small loss on the 14th of July. So on the 14th of July, I was right over here. I entered a trade over here because I saw a weak move and I expected it to reverse. I think possibly it was at this doji. When I saw this doji, I said, yeah, we're going to move down. But we moved a bit and blasted off up. So you need to really look at where you in the trend. You see this red candle over here? It had a long wick. That is a stopping volume candle telling you that there's a big rejection from moving down. Everyone wants it to go higher. For Bitcoin today, I'm in a trade in Bitcoin. I took a trade today, but I'm still not in big profit. I'm possibly in 20% or something. I took a trade on this rejection over here. On over here, rejection of the daily open. As soon as I saw the rejection of the daily open, I decided that I will go in. So on the hourly, it looked a bit different. I had this doji candle that told me that it's a reversal pattern, and we started moving. At the moment, using this indicator, I can know that Sydney market is open. Sydney is a dead cat time. Dead cat. The market is dead. So there's no volume in the market because all the other markets are closed, except for Sydney and New Zealand. They just open now. Once they start trading, and you see Tokyo and Hong Kong come in. You see, this is what we got from Tokyo and Hong Kong. Tokyo and Hong Kong, the volume increases and we get good moves in the market. So Sydney yesterday started the dump somewhere around here. New York was closing over here. New York closed right on this candle with a spike up. Sydney came in and dropped us a bit. Tokyo came and Hong Kong followed through. And then again, the EU Brinks box came in, followed by London. Then we had the US Brinks box took us down. New York spiked us up. It's all a game of liquidity to exploit the retail traders. So today I took a trade, and at the moment it's at a small profit. My stop loss is still in a region that I could be stopped in a slight negative, but it's okay. I had a trade that I opened way up here at around 40k, and I wanted to let you know why did I take this trade. So for beginners it's very helpful. If you're using EMAs and you look at the 50 and the 200 on the 1 hour for Bitcoin, if you go to the 1 hour for Bitcoin and you look at when we were at 40k, 40k was right over here. I believe I took the trade somewhere over here. This was 39, probably the peak over here. But why did I take it? Because Bitcoin has a habit of rejecting the 200, which is this white line you see. The 200 EMA is a problem for Bitcoin. We can break above it, but we always come below it, and sometimes we even struggle to get above it. You can see many examples. We go above it. If we go above it, we'll struggle at the 800. Either way, I saw this, and I saw this pattern. When you see a rise up and you see a spike, then you see it stalling and the price takes hours and still not doing much, there is a good chance one of the two things will happen. Obviously, either it's an accumulation and will rip up, or it's a distribution and will dump down. So you could take a chance and probably put your stop loss slightly higher. I use ATR to decide on my stop losses. That helps. If you're trading light, that will help you. Sydney just came in. It's been how long? Sydney has been open for the past, it's been open for a while. This is 30 minutes. It's been there for 30 minutes. So if Sydney's intention to move us down, we might see Tokyo and Hong Kong do the same. We might see them. The DXY dollar index, we see at the 0.618 where we were getting support over here. After I did the retracement, I showed you the 0.618. We have some support over here. And you can see a stopping volume candle with a big wick rejection of moving down further. And we might be going up on the dollar index. If that happens, then everything else will start going down. But the Dow Jones is moving up slightly. The US 100 is getting support on the 50 EMA. You see this? This is the 50 EMA. And the Dow Jones is above the 50 EMA. It's not even testing it yet. Bitcoin likes to retest the 50 EMA. So whenever Bitcoin moves up or moves down, you could trade the retracement back to the 50 EMA. So I'll show you something. If we take this and you look at Bitcoin, we have this big candle down. You can almost guarantee, and then we got support on the 200. This is on the 15-minute time frame. Let's go on the hourly. This is on the hourly. On the hourly, look at this. I'll show you this. Bitcoin had big green candles moving up. You could almost guarantee that there'll be a retracement. Okay, the retracement might not always come back to the 50, but at some point it will come back. when is the question, you won't know, but after a big move we always get a retracement. So I'll show you something. You see this big candle forming now. You could guarantee we're going to get a retracement again. You see this green candle, we got to move back down. So usually when you see these big candles, these vector candles, we will get a move down. There's still some candles down here that we may come down to the 21.6 to 21 region. But volume, all in all, volume is terrible on Bitcoin. Volume is very bad. This is on the 15-minute time frame. You can see that Bitcoin is wicking up and not moving up. So that could be that they're gonna dump it for a bit, not so low, maybe down to this level again, recover this liquidity of people who went long over here. Many people went long over here, push the price up, so they might come here, hit the people's stops and liquidation, and slightly lower, then shift out again out of the range. So let me show you some methods of trading over here, what I like to do. I use this indicator. It's called the Trader's Reality Indicator. It has a 5 and 13 and 50 and 200 EMAs, and I use the MACD. And mostly I like to look at my moves starting on the 15 minutes, because the moves develop in lower time frames and move to higher time frames. So if the move starts on 15-minute time frame, like over here, let me switch off the candles so you can see the EMAs. You see the yellow EMA and the red EMA, these are the 5 and the 13 EMA. You have the 50, the blue one, and the white one. The 50 crossing the 200 is known as the golden cross, and that tells you that we might be moving up. But if you look closely, we have curved downwards. We might not move up. At the same time, the 5 and 13, which are the faster EMAs, are crossing over slightly. And the MACD on the 15-minute is showing me that momentum is slowing down. Red bars and the cross down, that tells me momentum is slowing down. So that's a point I would say, okay, it's a possible trade to take a short. What other levels here that tells me that it's a time to take a short? I have the daily open. That's where the candle opened today. We rejected from it several times. 1, 2, 3. The crossover is about to happen, but as you can see, there's a wick over here, so that means we're still getting support from the 5200. A good trade, a safer trade would be waiting until the price breaks below the 50 and the 200, and the EMAs cross, both EMAs cross the 50, and then you would wait for the price to retrace, like over here. Look, we broke from above below the 50. We retraced back to the 50, rejected at the 50. This would be a good place to take a short, because you came from up, you came and retraced, and this is a place to chance a short. Say you take a short and you put your stops slightly higher. Maybe you say this candle over here is resistance, so I will go a bit higher than that so I don't get wicked out. And then we dropped again, but when we dropped over here, we got 2 stopping or 3 stopping volume candles, and we went up again. Then we dropped again, and then we got a stopping candle to reverse, and we dropped again, and then we got a stopping candle to reverse, and we went up. We came up, we got a stopping candle here, we didn't reverse strongly. We came up, we got this, and indicating that we might reverse again. So let's see what happens. If it will continue lower, how low will it go? But we're basically holding the range. It's obvious from the ATR. Looking at the ATR, ATR is going lower. That means your volatility is going less and less. The average true range, the distance between the candle movements on the hourly, the ATR is at 300, so it's risen a bit. But once ATR gets so low, I like to see ATR at 200 or lower, and that tells me there's a move incoming. In addition to that, I use something called the RSVVB. It's also called as a caterpillar. It's a volatility indicator on the hourly, and you can see clearly when we have compressions like this, then we have a big move down or up. If you look up here, we had a nice compression over here, we exploded upwards, then we came back, we had another compression and broke down. The RSVVB is very good. At the moment on the hourly we're compressing. What I do, and I think no other trader does, is I measure the RSVVB. Once it's using the measuring tool, the ruler, and once I see it less than 2%, then it's telling me a move is incoming. So far we're still at 5.33%. So we have more compression to go before we see a nice explosive move. Not saying that we can't move now, we could still move, but a nice compression will tell us there's a good move incoming. Over here we have the, if I haven't showed you this, guys, we have the, oh, I've erased it. We have Fibonacci coming on exactly in. This is my first line. This will coincide with 8 hours or 7.5. Then Fibonacci time will be at around 15 hours. So we might see a move when that happens. Hope you like the stream. Please like and subscribe and share. And I'll be posting another video possibly tomorrow. I might post a video or a short, and maybe throughout the day I could post a live. Thanks for watching. More trades. I'm out.